Update: am I the butthole for telling my girlfriend that being depressed is not an excuse for being lazy? Original. Ultimately, I realized that the majority of the blame was mine. I never ever should have called her lazy because that isn't what she is. I lashed out and I shouldn't have. She stayed at her mother's for a few days, and we eventually met up to talk. I told her how it just got too much for me, but it was no excuse for lashing out, and I apologized. She apologized also, not that she needed to, and we talked for a long while about how we can make our relationship work. I expressed my concerns over her therapist, who was very against anything other than talking therapy. She agreed that he didn't seem to really have her best interests at heart, and she is currently looking for someone new. For now, I suggested she stops looking for work. She got a lot of rejections and I could see it was upsetting her more. I just felt we should take a step back from that, and I want her to focus a little more on herself. She was unsure as she felt bad that I would be working for both of us, but I assured her it is fine. I make enough to support us both quite comfortably. I also suggested maybe she could volunteer at some point just to get her out and get some more stuff on her resume. I'm no therapist, so these were just suggestions, but it has seemed to have taken some of the pressure off her, which is all I wanted. We agreed that being in the apartment all day alone and in bed is not good for her. So, we came up with a plan that she do an exercise video 3 times a week. It's only a 10-minute one, just so she is doing something. She has found she likes doing them, they make her feel a bit better after, and has started something called yin yoga now too. To help me, she has 1 chore a day to do. I don't care what it is. It could be dishes or it could just be putting the laundry in the hamper. This rule has at least gotten her out of bed for part of the day, and she's found that once she starts, she sometimes ends up doing more than one thing. I make sure to show my appreciation for whatever she has done, no matter how small it was. We have set out that every Sunday we will have a deep cleaning day where we get everything done for the week. This has been surprisingly successful. We make it fun and just mess around while still getting things done. It makes the week a lot more manageable when we only have light chores to keep on top of. She is trying more, and I am also working on being more supportive about her depression. I'm researching it more, and learning ways I can help her because it is a part of her. We are both putting more effort in and communicating a lot better. I hope we keep making progress because I do love her very much and want us to work. Web link. It's so nice when these things have a happy ending. Good job on working on your issues and communicating properly. This does seem like a great example of a couple coming together to talk about their issues. Not only that, but they gave each other space and waited for cooler heads to prevail so they could talk honestly and without tempers flaring. They get an A+. They're going to make it, I can tell. Totally. On a related note, this is why I hate the cliché advice often given to couples to never go to bed angry. Nah, man, what good does it good to stay up and add exhaustion to the argument? Speaking as someone in a marriage with that rule, it's less about insisting on staying awake until things are resolved and more about recognizing that anything can happen, and not wanting to risk having major regret. Both my husband and I lost our mothers very young. I was 18 when my mom died, he was 23, and we have both suffered a tremendous amount of loss since, including family and very close friends. In the case of my husband's mother, she fell into a coma very suddenly and spent a month unconscious in the ICU before dying. My own mother died of cancer, but lost her ability to speak very suddenly as a result of a serious seizure. We both learned the consequences of leaving things unsaid, so neither of us wants to risk going to sleep or leaving the house pissed off on the off chance something should happen to either of us. That said, we both readily acknowledge not every argument is easily solvable, so there have been times when bedtime has gone like this: I love you with everything I am, I know that we are going to work this out, I just need more time to cool off before I am able to rationally talk it out. Hugs and kisses, we can both rest easy. I'm sure not every couple with that rule is the same as we are, and we get that it's not feasible or understandable for everyone, but it's important to us. That's a very wise mindset to have. I have a rule that I make sure to tell my loved one how much she means to me every time we part after our long talks, so if something happens she'll know my last thing I said to her was how much I love her. This was a thing that got reinforced when she almost died of an aneurysm in the middle of one of our long talks. I can't say my wife and I have never gone to bed pissed off, but I can say that no matter what has happened since day one, I have never gone to bed without saying good night, I love you. It does make a difference, and keeps things in perspective. None of that crap is more important than our relationship. Yeah, I think people take it too literally. I feel it's more like get things resolved instead of just letting them go. Because things will come back up, but if you are bubbling unresolved, you become less upset at the thing and more upset at being upset. On the off time my husband and I do go to bed mad, it's always awful the next day, at least for me, because you don't know if the other is mad, and we don't text because things aren't resolved. The day of negatively just isn't worth it. My mother died when I was 20. Her last words to me during an argument were congrats _ You finally became the horrible person you wanted to be. She OD'd. I pulled the plug 3 days later. Means I can't sleep when a resolution is an option. It adds a sense of immediacy. I don't interpret that as fully hash it out before bed, but as let go of the negativity when it's time for bed. So even if there's still a battle to be had, shelve it until the next day, and let your partner know you love them before turning in for the night. Oh, totally. I can go to bed angry, I wake up a lot more agreeable, smiley face. I can go to bed fuming and facing the edge of the bed. Then it gets to the middle of the night and it feels weird not to be touching. And I think we both creep to the middle until we wake up intertwined. I might still wake up mad, but I'm reminded that I don't want to sleep without him, and it usually puts the problem into perspective. I try not to go to bed angry if I can help it. But sometimes, it just really helps to sleep on it and cool off. The other night me and my boyfriend got into a huge fight and I was so angry I knew I would say something I regretted, and I knew I was exhausted and stressed about something else, so that didn't help. I went to sleep. He had to get up at 5:15 the next morning for work. He gave me a kiss goodbye. I was still mostly asleep but told him to drive safe, and when he came back from work, we had a calm, level-headed conversation. Sure, if I can solve a fight before bed then I'll do it. But I don't find it a necessity, because sometimes a night of sleep does wonders for both of us. I never understood this advice either. Whenever me and my so try to go to bed angry, we both end up staying awake thinking about long enough that we end up taking it out before we can fall asleep anyway. My parents lived by this and I thought it was the way to go. It nearly ruined my relationship. I like to talk everything to death, there in the moment. My husband needs to take time away from the situation to process on his own and calm down before he can have any kind of conversation about it. It has taken a long time and we are still working on it, but it's so much better now that I've abandoned don't go to bed angry. I agree. I had a disagreement with my wife recently and it took us 10 days to resolve the issue. The conversation was a lot better than pushing ourselves to talk the next day where the emotions are still high. Seriously. Pretty much all the worst, almost relationship-ending arguments my boyfriend and I have been in have occurred after midnight. Trying to not argue late at night anymore, and just save it for the morning, everything usually seems easier to deal with than anyway. Yeah. I grew up with this idea that you should never go to bed angry, not sure where I got it. But even as a child I couldn't stand to allow a conflict to stay unresolved. It took until I was married to realize that this wasn't actually a good idea. My husband is the type to step away from a situation when he's mad and refuse to talk about it, and that frustrated me so badly until I saw that it actually worked great. Either the conflict wasn't actually that bad and we didn't really care the next day, or it was serious enough that the time and space allowed us to process and explain ourselves and listen to each other better. I want to give you this award, but I have no money. As someone who has learned to deal with and overcome chronic depression, I teared up reading this. Good on original post for learning something and becoming a positive force in her life. People with this kind of depression are just wired differently and need different stimuli to function best. Instead of pushing, creating the right kind of space, physical space, emotional space, etc., can often get the ball rolling and help them find agency. It's counterintuitive, so it's so heartwarming that original post made that step. Reading this made me emotional too. I'm in the same position as Op's girlfriend, and part of the depression is the overwhelming feeling that I'm useless and that my boyfriend secretly resents me. We have a similar schedule now where I have to do one chore a day regardless of what it is. We also rescued a puppy at the start of lockdown, and having a puppy has definitely helped with having a routine and feeling like I'm needed and useful. I did too. It made me so happy for them seeing how supportive he is being and working on the solutions together. Very sweet and caring. Great to hear. Depression-induced inability to get out of bed is a vicious circle. And having you there to help her both be accountable but also as her support is super important. It's good to see that you've been able to change your behavior, which in turn will help her as well. If she's enjoying doing online fitness and yin yoga, I highly recommend the YouTube channel Yoga with Adrienne. She does a lot of slow yin style lessons, in addition to specific ones for people with depression and anxiety that are great. Seconding yoga with Adrienne. Also, if the girlfriend finds she's still motivated after a 10-minute video, there's more 10-minute videos to tack on, so she can do as much as she wants without committing a huge chunk of time. Thanks for this. I'm going to try her out. Samsies. I recommend her, too. I was searching for short yoga routines for inflexible people and hers was awesome. I need to lose weight and my depression makes that difficult. I'm prior military, so it's not for lack of motivation. I want to lose weight and I know I can. Depression just makes me self-defeating. Her videos are awesome and she's like way relaxing. I do them in the morning with my kids. They'd be a really good start to get things moving. Hoping you find a way to prioritize yourself through your depression. I know I'm just an internet stranger, but you can do it. I believe in you. Thank you so much. Heart, heart, heart. Coming from someone who, usually, works out pretty consistently and also has depression, you have to make it a habit. I completely understand that getting up and doing it is literally impossible sometimes, but once you're in the mood to work out, do it. Then after you're done, all the good hormones will be flowing and you'll be like, oh, that feels nice. I always tell myself if I'm debating on getting up, that I have never regretted working out. You just have to force yourself to do it consistently for a week or two and it'll then become a habit. Easier said than done, but you can do it. Thanks, that actually helps a lot. I just had a baby 9 months ago, so that along with COVID and the god-awful heat gives me all these excuses, which some are valid sometimes, but for the most part, I need to get past them. There are 24 usable hours in the day and no matter how tired I am at the end of the day, the anxiety keeps me up at night, so working out in my living room while the kids are asleep would be the ideal time and would help me get to sleep easier. Sometimes just writing it out makes it make so much more sense. Like light bulb. Duh. And then I feel like a dip crap, smiley face. I always find this. If I can force myself to do one of Adrienne's less than 10 minutes ones, then I always end up wanting to do more. Me too. I have found Adrienne's channel to be the most inspiring / helpful / doable when my depression is in full swing. I love yoga with Adrienne. I love her message that no matter your ability, you've already done the hardest part by stepping onto your mat, and that it's important to give yourself credit and gratitude for showing up. I love yoga with Adrienne, can't recommend her enough. Also, she has a cattle dog, and even a 1-second scroll through my history will show you that I have 2 and I love them, so it's neat to see her dog from time to time. Seconded. She's great. I've tried other yoga videos, but she's my go-to because I love her energy so much. And Benji the dog is adorable. I third this. I found her on YouTube ages ago and she's my go-to girl. That's Guru Benji to you. I literally thought of yoga with Adrienne immediately when he said workout videos. She's uplifting without being at all cheesy. She's wonderful. Just shows how important it is to have support and encouragement. So much of depression is the guilt and shame you feel for not being able to function normally and feeling like a burden. I was severely depressed for a few years, and at one point my best friend, Forever, kindly coaxed me to try yoga with Adrienne. My best friend, Forever, is very wise, and it helped. Not as much as mood stabilizing medication helped, mind you. But it was something. Haha, amen to that. I've had people ask me if working out helped with my severe anxiety and depression, and around the time that I was coming out about what I had been going through and was in a better place, I was doing a crap ton of yoga and swimming, so that was a fair assumption. I always said that it did, but only after I was on the right mix of medications to make it effective in the first place. I'll probably check her out, too. Thanks. This. Especially the part of both hold her accountable and support her. I don't think some people realize how important it is to balance the two. Oh, that sounds super helpful. Hey, original post, depressed girl here. My therapist gave me an amazing tool that could be of use to your girlfriend, the procrastination book. It's just a simple agenda, with her favorite color on the cover, so it's pleasing for her to look at, which displays days week by week, so to directly have a look at her entire week. She can put any task she wants in there. For example, I myself did put that I had to paint my nails on Tuesday at 5 and to make pancakes on Thursday for my supper, nothing too hard, little things I usually enjoy doing. There's only one rule: once a task is written in the book, it must be done, so she has to write with an ink pen. She can also leave all days blank if that's what she wants. But to be honest, I've only put tasks I really wanted to do but was too depressed to perform before. The book really helps. Once she feels ready, she might enjoy using that little trick. Sorry for the bad spelling and such, English isn't my main language, and all the best to you guys. You can fight this together, I know she will get better. Thank you. I'll definitely tell her about this and look into getting it for her. This sounds like something that would help her a lot. Hi. I hope you managed to read this over all the other messages, but I made a post with tools to help people communicate and to be aware of certain traits and behaviors that people have. Having depression myself, a lot of this has helped me communicate with loved ones to help ensure that everyone is heard and cared for. I hope it helps you. Web link. I like this idea. I'm going through severe depression right now and having similar problems as OPS-GF. I'm going to give this notebook thing a try. I truly hope it will help you. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.